Hi, my name is Agnes.
Hi, my name is David.
And this is At the Root. At the Root, we're about giving leaders, especially introvert leaders, a voice to their story.
We are also here to share the stories of the individuals, the community organizations, and individuals that allows them to tell us their origin story, where it all started, and hence At the Root.
Hey, David. Recently, I overhauled my wardrobe, and I no longer wear jerseys to games anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
At all?
No. This brand that we're repping today is the reason that I switch up my whole wardrobe. I now wear these really cool, funky sweaters to our games because, to be fair, they look better.
They look nice. Yeah.
They're more comfortable. So that's why when we wanted a guest, she came to mind as soon as we talked about the show because, hey, she's kind of cool.
She is, and you know, with the brand and all that, I think it's also the meaning of the brand and what they stand for. I think that adds an element to it because most brands they're clothing brands, but I think there's so much meaning behind it. And I'm excited to learn more about that side of it, which is going to be super insightful.
Absolutely, we always talk about the idea of social enterprise, whether it's profitable or not profitable. But what I love about today's company and the person that we're talking about, they actually built the charity part, the giving part, right into the product. And I thought that was interesting because it speaks volume in terms of the giving back portion of their social enterprise and the fabric of why it makes a difference. Because if you think about it, those are fundamentally different model. They are giving up profit to make sure that they give back. And I thought, wow, that is, when you talk about dedication and love for what you do, you can't, it just speaks volume in the way that how giving centric they are in building this brand.
Yeah, they're literally putting their money where their mouth is. Well, enough of us. Since we're wearing the brand, we know who the brand is. But why don't you tell us who is the brand?
Let's zoom over here. Welcome to our episode, Lisa. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tell us a little bit about Peace Collective.
Yeah. So Peace Collective, we started out in 2014. So it's been a little bit more than a decade now. We're a lifestyle brand that aims to help customers give back. So our motto has always been, look good, feel good, and do good. So for every purchase that a customer makes, we donate a portion of that to causes like mental health research and a couple of other causes as well that's, pertinent to whatever's happening in the world or whatever causes that our own team is passionate about.
Perfect. And I read your latest report and your giving report as of, I think, last month. The count is $581,000
around there
towards your $1 million goal by 2030.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is huge. And I know we've been working together for years. So, and even then I still found out more about some of the background today. Well, let's talk a little bit about this. So let's start off by talking about the origin story. I realized the origin story come from just self-produced, designed T-shirt that's worn at a Raptors game. Tell us about that first.
Yeah, so my partner, Yanel, the CEO and founder, he made these shirts back then when, I think it was like 2014 when the Raptors had like their playoff run. He made these shirts for him and his friend to go, I think, watch at Jurassic Park. It was a Toronto versus everybody T-shirt, and that was when it got picked up by TSN during one of those.
It wasn't even in the stadium; it was in the Jurassic Park.
During one of those like little montages that they put on like the TSN broadcast. And since then, a lot of people started to text him like, "Hey, where do you get that shirt? Where do you get that shirt?" And I think at that time he was working in sales, so he was kind of doing this on the side. And then from there, he just kind of realized that this could be something. And he just kept doing it on the side for, I think, a few months until I joined on in 2015.
Nice. And I heard that when you joined, before you joined, there's a story there as well. You believe in the mission, but one particular citywide event made you quit your job. Tell us about that.
So yeah, at that time when I had met my partner, I was working at CIBC Mellon as a fund accountant. I had just graduated university. This was like my first entry-level job in finance. And when I met him, again, working part-time on Peace Collective and didn't really think much of it. It wasn't until October of 2015, where the Blue Jays had their postseason run. Very nostalgic, I know. And at that time, we had an opportunity to gift Jose Bautista and a few of his teammates sweaters for his birthday, actually. Didn't think much of it because, one, when you gift influencers or celebrities, you're not really sure whether or not they're going to post, but it is like a celebrity, so we decided to take that chance. And for us back then, we were a very small brand. That was kind of like a big inventory hit for us. So we said, you know what, what's the worst that could happen? The worst is that, we lose out on an inventory, but there could be potential upside. So we gifted it to his team and didn't think much of it at all. We were actually on vacation in Hawaii, and I think during that trip, I had already planned to quit my job and move over to Peace Collective full time by the end of 2015. So on the way back home, we had a layover in Vancouver. We turned on our phones, and our phone was blowing up. Everybody is texting us like, oh my God, like, did you see Instagram? And our Shopify, like, notifications were going off like crazy. So like, what is going on? So we open up Instagram, and it turns out Jose Bautista, and I think it was Josh Donaldson as well, posted a photo of them wearing our sweaters with a whole caption explaining what Peace Collective does,
Nice.
like our mission. And it was just such a heartfelt and genuine message that was the moment that it kind of solidified everything for us. So going back to work, in my little cubicle that week, I decided to give him my two-week notice because that would have made it the end of October that I would leave my job. But then a couple of days later, he hit that bat flip. And our orders skyrocketed. And I figured at that point in time, it was like, okay, this has to be something. I have to kind of pour all my time and effort into this, like with my partner. So I ended up going to my manager's cubicle, and I told her, hey, that 2-week notice I gave you like 2 days ago, I'm actually going to leave today. So I actually ended up quitting my job after the bat flip.
So the bat flip
Yeah.
is the defining moment
Yep.
that you're like, I
This
am
is something.
This is it.
This is it.
This is it. That is so cool because I actually didn't even know the origin story came from just a T-shirt at Jurassic Park.
No.
That's kind of cool.
I mean, it also speaks to like what you could do today with like a brand and stuff like that. I think, man, like I remember that image, the Instagram, where I'm like, everyone, because you're right, everyone's like, what is that? Where is that? And it was one of those moments. So to see it, it's like, that's incredible to kind of see. And to your point, the bat flip, oh my goodness, what a historical moment.
Yeah.
To this day. Like
Yeah.
we have our moments in Toronto sports, but
I mean, last year would have been the George Springer hopping up and down.
yeah.
That would have been the equivalent. But tell us a little bit more, kind of like coming back into the brand and everything else, or even tell us a little bit more about, what Peace Collective is now today. It's been over 10 years. That's crazy, right? Like, what has been that journey been like for you, and what does that kind of look like?
Oh, it's been a long journey, obviously. I mean, it's still ongoing. At the beginning days, like, we were just making T-shirts, sweaters, like, things to kind of, like, rep your city, your country, just have that sense of pride. But I think ever since, obviously, like, the Raptors playoffs or even, like, the Blue Jays run, we've been so tied to sports, especially Toronto sports. So that kind of paved the way for us to kind of just go all in on sports and kind of dive into that. Now being one of the first Canadian licensees in a lot of these different leagues has been an amazing adventure for us so far. It's been super fun and given us like so many opportunities. Like right now we're working through activating a lot of things for FIFA World Cup since we are a FIFA licensor.
Nice.
Sorry, a licensee. So it's been an amazing journey, obviously in sports, but also growing the business as well and solidifying our name, not just in Canada, but also the US and like in other regions as well. And also, I think growing the team and like learning how to manage people has also been such an up and down journey, because obviously managing people is a little bit difficult, but it's taught a lot about myself, and it's helped me learn more about myself as well.
Well, I've known you for a few years, right? So I don't ever think management is an issue for you. You're just so patient and so organized. Like,
Really?
so organized. I'm like, if I need to get things done, oh, just talk to Lisa. she's going to get it done internally for us. So, but the question I have for you, though, that caught my eye is, like, you were that perfect Asian girl that every parent want, got into like good university, coming out of university got an accounting job. Like that's kind of what most parents expect of their kid, right?
Yeah.
Good stable job,
Yeah.
bank, you know?
Yeah.
Like when you quit your job and you said, you told your parent that you're quitting, like what did they say?
Or did you tell your parents?
I did tell my parents.
Oh.
I told my mom. I'm very close to my mom. My parents are not traditional at all.
Yeah.
So there was no like, you have to be a doctor, you have to do this, you have to get a job, you have to go through school. Obviously, like the one thing that she did ask for was to go to school, so I did that. She actually kind of told me, she's like, do whatever like makes you happy that you can give like your all into. When I did quit my job, she was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
But then again, at the end of the day, she's like, you kind of already did it, so I can't really say anything. But also said, just take care of yourself and just make sure like you're having fun and you're happy. But also like, are you sure? I'm like, yes, we'll be okay. So yeah, my mom was really supportive.
Nice. And that's so open-minded.
It is, and it's there's always two sides. I think it's rare, but it's nice to hear stories where like the Asian parents are like super supportive. And I think we said it last time, right? Like they're always gonna be supportive. They just show it in different ways, and
Yeah,
everyone's a
that's
little
true.
bit different. I don't think they're ever gonna be like that's horrible. It's like they at the end of the day they just want to make sure you're okay, and
Yeah.
that's what it sounds like too at the
Yeah.
bottom line. I'm also curious, like with all the license activations and everything else, because we shop on the brand, we know there's more than just sports. So what are some of the other brand activations, and how did all those other, if you can speak to those other brands, like one of the ones I know one of my friend loves is the SpongeBob one.
Yeah.
How did
I
those
love the
come
Care
to be?
Bear one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those those type of properties came up purely for like nostalgic reasons. Like Care Bears is obviously very synonymous
Yeah.
with like mental health research and just like overall like positivity. So we felt like that was kind of like a no-brainer. SpongeBob, again, playing up more so on the nostalgic side because that's like who we are. Like we're like myself and like we're both born in like the 90s. So for us, like we grew up on all that stuff. So
Yeah.
that's what we enjoyed. So it just made more sense for us to kind of create things or like look for things that was really aligned with us or the brand values.
Let's go back to your alignment with mental health, and I know you guys also donate to refugees related not-for-profits as well. How did that even come about? Like, I know it started off with those T-shirts, but how did you guys relate the T-shirts to this ongoing giving and this $1 million by 2030 goal?
Yeah, so when the company first started, we always had a give back. At the very beginning days, it was giving back to the World Food Program. And then after a couple of years of that, it switched over to providing for like school meals in the Canadian school system, because a lot of the times kids that go to school, they may not have breakfast, they may not have lunch. So providing that, even in our own country, in Canada, a lot of kids don't have that. So we pivoted to working with those organizations. And then from there, moving on, kind of pivoting over to more of like a worldwide program called Mary's Meals. And I think it was during COVID where we actually, decided to make one solidified pivot, and we aligned everything to either food banks during that time for COVID or mental health research, because I think during COVID, those were the two most prominent social issues that we saw, where obviously during COVID, no one was really working. So food banks was kind of like a scarce resource for everyone. And where those different organizations across Canada didn't necessarily have the funds or resources to help support their communities. And then mental health research, that's kind of what everyone is going through, whether, it's anxiety, depression. We want to make sure that we're highlighting those and kind of removing that stigma. So with mental health research, we work with CAMH, who is the largest, I believe one of the largest research facilities in North America.
But is it because you and Yanel have such strong belief in giving, or how did that come about? Like, understanding is the fabric of not the organization, but also the founders.
It's always been about giving back, like giving what you have. Both of our families are refugees. For example, his family has fled the Middle East from war, and then for myself, my dad fled from Vietnam as a refugee as well. So for me, like, I've always been instilled, like, give what you can.
Nice.
Because there's always going to be someone that has less than you. When I grew up, I was growing up in a single mom household. She didn't have much, but she would always give whatever coins she had to the person that literally doesn't have a home. So she's always kind of instilled that in me, and I wanted to always make sure that that's what I could do for others as well.
Oh, that's so nice.
Beautiful story. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we're kind of going through it, I mean, I would also love to kind of learn a little bit more of some of the nuances around, as you're creating this brand, what were some of the most challenging things that kind of happened? I mean, it can go in so many ways, I feel like, and especially, I'm sure in a decade's time, you have so many stories.
Yeah.
But what was the most challenging part of it?
Oh, I think regardless of who you ask, like, one of the most challenging things is scaling.
Yes.
Because I feel like there's no right or wrong answer, because
Yeah.
everyone's business and everyone's processes are so different. So scaling, but also scaling is like, there's different ways that you can scale. Obviously, it's like investment, or it's growing your team, it's growing your product line. Like, those are all different variations of scaling. For us, I would say one of the biggest challenges so far, and we have experience, is scaling the team and scaling, how do you manage all these products?
Yeah.
We have a lot of products, if you've noticed on our site. It's like, how do you manage everything?
Yeah.
How do you manage people? How do you manage different personalities, but also making sure that everyone's working productively, efficiently, there's good flow of communication. So I'd say scaling is probably one of the biggest nuances, because within scaling, there's 30 other million different things that are issues that come up too.
Yeah, and I'm sure as you scale, new things come up. You're kind of like, oh my gosh, there's more. And how was it like going from the online retail? Because if I remember correctly, you have a store.
We have 2 stores.
2 stores.
Yeah.
So e-commerce is its own thing. Retail, brick and mortar, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
What led to that decision to be like, you know what, that was great. We're going to open stores. We're going to be kind of front facing. What was that like?
So we're a very community focused brand. So we actually looked at our stores as little community hubs where we can interact with our customers and our communities and have events and whatnot. We didn't look at our stores as this is another revenue driver, et cetera. It was just a way for us to connect with our community. So we looked at it as more of a way for, again, kind of like flagship stores. As a brand, I feel like most brands always want to have a brick and mortar kind of to validate your brand as well. But we have such an amazing retail team where they're connecting with our customers, they're giving us feedback, but also allowing our customers to touch and feel the product as well. So it's been great to have both spaces.
What goes into the QA and the design part? That's when I think Peace Collective, I think 2 things: design, and I think you guys just do amazing marketing. So how did those come about? Like, do you hire for the talent? I see you on your Instagram page all the time. Tell us a bit about those.
We have a very big like product team, and I would say our designers and our product designers are absolutely amazing. Yanel usually leads a lot of like the design, the creativeness, and I think our team that we have now meshes so well together. They are just, I don't know how to explain it. They're just like the most creative people. They've come up with so many different designs. I think right now our product team is probably like 10 to 15 people or 10 to 12 people. But we have a great network of our team working together. We have an art director, we have a product developer. And I think the one thing that has really helped us as well is making sure that we have like a really good like production cycle, but also closing that loop with like a feedback cycle. So we're really quick to gather any feedback from our customers, whether that's like a B2B customer or our, a Sally from Toronto that's ordering a t-shirt. She has feedback. We kind of take it in on a weekly basis, see what's wrong, and then try to fix it as we move along. So I would say feedback and like the creativity of our design team has really helped shaped our products now.
Marketing.
Our marketing, yeah. Our marketing team is also amazing. Jonathan, who you've typically seen on our socials, and Catherine as well, they've done an amazing job with our marketing and elevating it every step of the way. So yeah, I think right now we have such great synergy with our team that everything just like executes at such a high level.
Nice. And I think you guys have this brand, like your brand identity is solid. You guys have a story to tell, and you guys just want to tell your story wherever you go, right? Through your clothing, through your design, through marketing. You see that like most of your posts, they aren't just about pushing out product. They are really about pushing out the mission that you guys have. And I think, it pulls on, at least pulled on my heartstring, because I'm like, oh, I align with what you guys are trying to do, and let's support.
Yeah.
Right? It makes so much sense.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And for me, I think it's also like looking at not even the pieces, like to your point earlier, you're talking about like jerseys, right? Like it's kind of at a point where a lot of people are not wearing as many jerseys. You're looking for different things to wear to games, because now when you go to games, I think it's totally different. The scene, the view, and everyone else. So it's kind of cool. And I will say, like, it's cool to have something that represents Toronto and all the sports. I feel like we were missing that. Like before this, I don't know if we had that. I was trying to think back. I'm like, do we have anything like that? And I don't know if we did.
I don't think so.
No, right?
No, I don't think so. But it's different now. Like when you go to like Leafs games, still very jersey based.
Yeah.
But aside from that, like when you go to the Raps game or go to a Jays game, like I see Peace Collective stuff equally as much as I see jerseys.
Yeah.
Like.
But I think it's also like a day-to-day, like now you got this pride and you want to wear it around and stuff like that.
Yeah. You want to rep your teams, right? I think that's like I was talking earlier.
Yeah.
But like I'm a Toronto sports fan. I want to wear Toronto stuff. Like I can't wear a jersey to work every day. It just doesn't fit, right? You need to give me some sort of an outlet to show my Toronto pride.
Yeah. And for you, Lisa, as like I'm curious, were you always a sports fan, or was this something that you love? Because there's so many different ways that you kind of fall into this.
Yeah.
Like, for you, like you were like, sports is great, or were you kind of maybe some of the driving factor behind more of the nostalgia stuff that was kind of coming back?
I think like before I started Peace Collective, I was really into UFC. I know that's really surprising. I was really into UFC, and then obviously I've always been into baseball since the bat flip.
Yeah.
I think now that we have more different licenses like NFL, FIFA, and a couple of other like European football clubs, I keep tabs on those different sports, not necessarily like diving into everything, because our revenue does kind of tie into some of those games as well. But I think for me, like the number one thing is baseball right now.
Now UFC?
I'm gonna get back into it, but I kind of fell off of that.
You need to get some UFC license, right?
I don't know. Maybe. That period after when GSP was fighting, when he retired, I think that's when I stopped watching.
I see. I gotcha.
Like the Anderson Silva, the GSP period.
I don't even know who the new people are.
I don't know either, but I'm trying to get back into it. So
one that's somewhat nostalgic is WWE. I feel like
WWE has a big comeback. I think Netflix has
they got all the Raw,
yeah,
and SmackDown. It's been crazy. Because I remember watching that as a kid and all the John Cena's and the Rock.
Very nostalgic.
It's definitely very nostalgic. And as we're kind of on the topic of kind of leadership and stuff like that, is there anything that you feel like as you're transitioning was the toughest to let go? Like, how big is your team now?
We, all in all, between like our front office, like headquarters, to our retail team and our distribution and production team, we're probably like 45, 46.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we were joking earlier, we still see you modeling all the clothing and stuff like that. What's been the toughest part to let go of as you scale like to 45?
The toughest thing to let go of was actually like letting go itself and like actually like trusting other people, because it took a while to actually get into the mindset of like you can't do everything yourself, right? So what I've had to try and learn is obviously like, okay, we built all these rules, people are coming on board and joining our team because they believe in our mission and they want to be part of this team. So like, how can I help them, fulfill their career, but also help them teach like new skills? So that's, like, think like a couple of years ago, that was like the hardest thing to let go of, is like certain tasks, like certain projects and like certain responsibilities. But then I found myself like getting really stressed out because everything was falling back on me.
Yeah.
Everyone was directing their questions to me, even though we had such a big team. So for me, like the one thing that I had to learn was, in order for me to not feel stressed and not feel so burnt out, I had to rely on the rest of the team. So I had to figure out a way to coach them, to manage them, to like set my expectations, to like give them feedback so that they can take on, their actual roles, and that everything didn't have to fall on me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I guess it took how long for you to get used to this new way of life for you?
Honestly, I would say like a couple years. Like I would say like 2-3 years. It's still fairly new. Like I still find myself on some days kind of slipping back into it. But what I have to remember, like what I try to tell myself every time, is that if I don't pass this off, I'm just going to become like really burnt out and I can't give my all to somebody. And I'm like a strong believer that whenever you do meet someone for coffee or you do connect with your team members, that you can't just look tired and look stressed all the time, because then it kind of gives off that like negative energy. And I was just not in a great mental space at that point in time. So I just had to learn myself to be able to like let go and like trust my team that they could, bring it together and be able to like execute.
Yeah. I think that's definitely the hardest. Anytime you're building anything, to let go is the hardest. Because that's like your baby or your sweat, tears. So to let go and trust someone else is going to believe in it or put as much effort as you do, is extremely tough.
Yeah.
What's the next thing for Peace Collective?
The next thing, I would say for us is like, testing new markets. We have, obviously with everything going on in the US and the tariffs, we've kind of shifted a lot of our focus to expanding in other regions, like in Europe and the UK, and then also Latin America. So alongside different leagues that are expanding into those regions, we're also kind of following footsteps as well and kind of establishing our bases in those different regions too.
And then I know you guys are avid travelers, so this would give you some other reasons to visit some cool places as well.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your favorite place that you guys have established Peace Collective presence that you visited?
I would say, we're still pretty new, but probably in the UK. London's always fun. And I was like a big football fan, so he loves going to watch those games there. Yep. So that's been really fun to like work with a lot of the clubs in the UK.
Nice.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a big NFL guy, so your NFL partnership's probably really timely because they're going deep into Latin America and then Europe. As you're looking at those different licensees and partnerships, like kind of what are the different things that come into factor for you when you're like, I want to do this or I want to do this?
Capacity.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, obviously, there's 30 million things that we want to do, but you can't do them. you can't do like 10 things and execute 10 and 10 on everything. We have to kind of pick and choose. And going through all these different opportunities, we have to look at ones that resonate the most with us, and not just with me and Yanel anymore, it's also like with the entire team, and seeing how like we can create products like with intention and be able to execute. Otherwise, we would just do, you know, a 2 out of 10 job on these and just like kind of like check boxes. It doesn't feel good, right? So.
And it sounds like, you know, your team is a big part of it. So I'm curious because of you and Yanel and the kind of established ground basis for the business and the social giving. What's the team culture like, and what's your focus been on in developing team culture?
Yeah, team culture I think nowadays has been really great. Everybody, like we're all on Slack, we all message each other. Everyone has become like friends. I know a lot of people hate to say like, oh, we're like a family. I wouldn't say we're necessarily like a family, but we're more so like really good friends. We help each other out. Again, like I mentioned before, like I am a strong believer of like the saying, there's no such thing as too many questions. So we kind of foster that throughout our team as well, to ask questions, work together. I mean, there's going to be trials and tribulations. There's going to be roadblocks. There's going to be challenges. But I think fundamentally what our team knows is that we're all here for a reason, and we're all here together, and we're supposed to be united in one team. So we all kind of work together towards one goal. So it's been really nice to see kind of like the synergy between, you know, our front office staff to our pickers and packers in our warehouse to our operators on our machines. It's been really refreshing to see, and I think that sometimes is difficult for some companies to kind of mesh the two, you know, whether it's a salaried versus an hourly employee or like different departments. So I think this year has been really nice and really refreshing to see that everyone's kind of working together and like enjoys each other's companies. So.
Well, I think it's just part of the reason, I think, is also because everyone believes in one goal and one mission, right? So it wouldn't matter if I'm contributing as a designer or I'm contributing as a shipper and packer. Like, I'm contributing to something I believe in, and that's a culture that is tough to build, like, on its own without such strong foundation, right?
Yeah. I think another great thing is that everybody that's here on our team now wants to be here. I think that's, you know, a lot of the times it's obviously like, you know, when people go through different like walks of life and there's like stresses in their life and whatnot, I feel like our team actually wants to show up and actually wants to be here, and like they truly love what they do. So I think that's been a big contributor as well to our team culture.
We spoke so much about Peace Collective, but I want to talk about Lisa.
Okay.
What do you do outside of work? Do you have time outside of work to be Lisa?
You know what? I'm trying to schedule more time to be me.
I love how you have to schedule it.
Yeah, I do have to schedule it. I am starting to really enjoy cooking.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. Just because, like,
What are you making?
I don't even know. I just make a bunch of things. Whatever is in my fridge, apparently. But no, like, I do really enjoy cooking. It kind of like just eases my mind. I kind of like take my mind off of things. But I also love like trying new restaurants and like just going out in general, like seeing my friends. I would not say reading because I set myself a goal every single year to say I'm going to read, but I never do. But when I do read, it's always like business books or like those types of books. I've always wanted to try and read a fiction book, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
The same way. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's hard. I find if you get into it, you might go into a rabbit hole. That's what I'm finding with my wife. She started with one book. I think last year she read like 100 fiction books. So she's like, it's a rabbit hole once you start. But since you like cooking, I'm curious, like, what are some of the favorite places you like to eat at then?
I love like Italian food.
Okay.
Nice.
So obviously like a couple of Italian restaurants. There's one in Vaughan that's really good called Artigianelli. It's owned by like a couple of brothers. I think that's always like a great time. I also love like sushi and Japanese. So I've been trying a couple more like omakase places downtown. So that's been nice.
Have you tried picking up like cooking Vietnamese food?
I tried. I'm trying.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's the same. My wife and I, we tried, and I don't know if you feel this way, where it's like we might ask the mother-in-law or even my mom, it's like, hey, how do you get the recipes? They're like, you feel the measurements. I
Yeah.
was like, what does that mean? Like,
Yeah.
I see the bottle go, and I'm like, how much was that? And she's like, just feel it. I was like, doesn't really work.
Yeah, just whatever you think.
Yeah.
I'll always ask my mom, like, how do you make this? She's like, oh, you put a little bit of this. And I'm like, that didn't look like a little. But no, I think it's because the reason why my mom doesn't want to give me the recipe is because she wants to, like, still make it for me.
Oh.
So she doesn't tell me how to make it. She'll always say, like, I'll teach you how to make this. I'll teach you how to make that. It's been like 5 years. She hasn't taught me anything. So maybe one day.
She's just like, just come home. I'll make it. It'll
Yeah,
be right here.
exactly.
Just come
She's
home.
like, do you want noodles? I'm like, oh, well, I can make it. She's like, it's not going to be good. I'm like, that's true.
It's very true. There's nothing like
Well,
a
the
home
broth
meal.
takes hours.
Yeah,
days.
it's
To cook up to their standard is
it takes
close
a
to
long time.
impossible.
Like
Yeah.
my wife and I tried making pho for the first time after watching her for like 3 weeks.
Got it wrong.
It's so wrong. I didn't notice there's rock sugar you put in it. Yeah. Make it a little bit sweet. We're like, I think she put this much, and we thought it was like, I swear we saw like a ball like this, and must have been something else because we put it in and we drank it. We're like, this is like dessert. Oh, it's horrible. And just like those little things that you're kind of like, how, what? But I swear it changes every time too as you watch her.
Yeah.
It's like this is a little bit because they're tasting along the way and they're changing. It's like, man. But I think that's one thing that would be kind of cool for us as you kind of grow older. It's like the culture of like the food and how it carries down. That's the one thing that we're trying to do. I'm like, but it's hard.
I personally really like to cook like dinner. It just gives me like a
a
thing for me to
break time.
decompress.
Yeah.
So I'll try to cook like a couple times a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't see that
And
coming.
is that still the chicken, rice, and veggie combo, or is that something
those are
different?
like more like dishes. Like I'll plan it. I'll be like, okay, today I want like this type of pasta. Today I want steak. Today I want this. And like I'll actually like plan it out and make it. Like it's in my calendar and everything.
Everything's planned to the T.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, next stage for you personally? What do you want to do next?
Oh,
Missy?
what do I want to do? I mean, there's obviously still so much to learn and to grow with the business, but obviously, like family planning is the next step. So
That'll be
that's on the
exciting.
horizon.
So exciting.
Yeah.
So exciting. We were just talking about kids before recording, too.
Yeah.
They're a bundle of joy. You just had one.
Yes. I have
Oh, congrats!
Thank you. I have almost 5 months. He'll be 5.
Are you sleeping?
That's so. I was sleeping great, and then he had a regression, so now it's been a little bit tough. But sleep is who needs it?
Optional.
No,
It's
yeah.
optional.
Of course not.
It's like running a business. You don't need sleep.
The baby is the business.
It's at this point. It's like if he's eating, sleeping, and he's surviving, I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job as best as I can. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I think someone said this. They design them to be cute. So at like 3 a.m. and 2 a.m. when they yell at you or they spit up or they puke or whatever, you don't chuck them out the window.
It's true.
Yeah, right. I'm like, what else are you gonna be doing at like
Yeah.
2, 3 a.m. when they're like doing all that? So, no, that's awesome. And as you're kind of thinking through the next stages of all that, like, what are some of the things that you're kind of looking forward to? Maybe like as you're handing more things off, or you're looking forward. I know you mentioned restaurant. Is it more travel? Is there other things or other hobbies maybe you want to pick up? Maybe reading.
Come back in 2027 about that one. You know what? I think like what I'm most excited to see is like our team like grow and kind of like take that step back. I personally have always made it a goal for myself to like help other small business owners.
Nice.
So any friends of mine who have like their own brands and whatnot that have started that are maybe like a couple of years in, I'll always try to lend a helping hand. I'm always like making myself available to help them, whether that's like through, they're not sure of how to like ship something or like how to set up some of their operations or fulfillment. I'm always trying to help anywhere I can.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's a big part about the ecosystem and the entrepreneurship. It's like giving back, helping
Yeah.
one another, because you know how hard it was. And as you've gone through the journey now, have you built up like advisors, support circles, or mentors or stuff like that to support you?
Yeah. Nowadays, like we do have a pretty good support system where we have like key people for like the finance and accounting, operators, marketers. So I think now we're in a good position where we have that kind of like support system that help us like advise on how to scale because they've built up their businesses to like a certain point. But I mean, still to this day, like there's certain things that they've never seen in our business, or like our business is just so different from theirs. But it's been nice to have like a support system to lean on.
And it's okay. I'm curious because you're first guest that's partners working on a business. What's that dynamic like? Because I always
I'm trying to stay away from that.
I'm gonna ask, and we can always.
Off limits.
Well, she said nothing's off limits. And I asked him, I'll say this, like, me and my wife have talked about it before. She's super crafty. I'm like, let me just sell some stuff. It makes a little bit of side money. You know, we got a baby to feed and like, got stuff to do. She's always like, no, we can never work together because it ruins it. We can have family conversations. So I'm curious because there's two sides. We see partners who work great together.
Yeah.
We see partners don't. So what's worked for you guys? And what's kind of been the way that's been, like 10 years in and you're still like, we still love this. We still love each other. We still want to do this.
Honestly, like, I think throughout this whole time working with one another, I'm not gonna lie, like, again, highs are high, but lows are low. We spend every waking moment with each other. Like, we live together, eat together, like, everything. We work together. I think what, like, this journey with just us two has really taught us is how to have, like, communication. You know, when there's an issue, you know, set the worker side and we say, hey, like, we appreciate this, we don't appreciate this, and we kind of just talk it out, wash it through, and then try to go back to the problem on the business side with a more stoic lens. So definitely communication has, again, it gets, you know, sometimes it gets heated, it's hard, but I think at the end of the day, like, I don't think I would do this with anybody else.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, and you two are so different too in personality. So it's like I can see how you guys got together from a business partner perspective, because I think your skill set complement each other quite well. It's just because of that, then there could be some disagreements at home. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens.
And I think the fact that you guys are both such good communicators, I think that's key, right? Calling it out and then resolving the issue like adults, right?
Yeah, yeah. It teaches a lot about like yourself and how you communicate with others too. But yeah, it's definitely taught me how to communicate better. I used to be an introvert. I used to bottle things up, but you know, ever since working with him, it's, you know, he's really pushed me to like just lay it out there, no matter how it sounds. And then eventually over time, you get to learn how to like filter out your communication and like communicate properly.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of it, right? You help each other grow, you challenge each other, and that's the whole part of it too, whether it's business or personal. I think, you know, that's super important. But I agree with you. Communication, I think, is like most important thing in both personal and business.
Yeah.
Either
100%.
way, so just to learn that piece is really good. Not sweeping on the rug like you said. Like so many things you can just be like, I'll deal with it tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it starts to compound.
Yeah.
Given your love for just retail and brand, I figure we can go down the path of what in your opinion, gives better brand experience for the customer, okay? Start off with an easy one. Online versus retail.
Oh, what gives a better experience? Honestly, like, I'm a homebody and I hate going to the mall, so I'm gonna say online. It's funny because I have like 2 stores, but yeah, I would say online.
So online versus a brand collab.
Oh, I think brand collabs, depending on who it is or like the different brands, could introduce either brands to like different markets. So I would say brand collabs.
So brand collabs versus seasonal drops.
Well, I mean, they could be seasonal drops too.
That's
so
true. That's
how we look at it.
You can't win with Lisa. She's so logical. Brand collab or evergreen?
Evergreen, because it's always going to be there.
Really?
It's always going to be there. Your brand collabs, I think, will introduce you to a new audience and will have that sense of newness. But your evergreen products are your best sellers. They're timeless. They're always going to be there, whether that's like an 18-year-old person buying it versus like a 56-year-old like buying it. It's always going to be there.
Oh.
And if that's the thing that you're known for, everyone's going to come back to you, and that's how you establish like a legacy nickname.
That's true. I just love brand collab though. Okay, so I just hate for it to be knocked out. Okay, so evergreen versus pop-up experience?
Evergreen.
I had a feeling.
Evergreen.
I mean, if she said evergreen over collab, I would think it's over pop-up too.
Evergreen versus sports licensing.
Well, again, sports licenses products can be evergreen as well. So,
I don't think anything's gonna trump evergreen.
I don't think evergreen is evergreen, eh?
Yeah.
I think that's the winner today.
Yeah.
Evergreen. So, last piece of advice. What would you give younger you, Lisa, as an advice to a new entrepreneur?
I would say, like, again, ask questions. Like, there's no such thing as like too many questions or a dumb question. So just ask anyone.
No, that's awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us, Lisa.
course,
This
thank
was
you for
great. It
having
was
me.
great to learn more about you, learn more about Peace Collective. Excited to see the new collabs and all the new stuff, both personally and on the business front that's going to come out. But really, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you for listening to the At the Root podcast. We're super excited, and please like and subscribe.
And stay tuned for the next episode.